To all of you in the audience, and to anyone else who happens to stumble on this tape, make no mistake about it, this is the absolute greatest time to be working in the advertising industry. Many have referred to the days when I worked on campaigns like Stuck on Band-Aid brand, Thanks I Needed That, Chow Chow Chow, and Quality is Job One as the golden age of advertising. In many ways it was, because of the impact of the three networks on the ability of a brand to buy the attention of the audience and build a brand from the ground up 30 seconds at a time. But as I declared in my blog, MadisonAvenue.com, 4 years ago we stumbled into the post-advertising era. Practically overnight, the game has changed. The biggest change was the demise of the concept of a consumer. To vast segments of the population, the entire idea of advertising became meaningless. As the great Theodore Levitt of the Harvard B School stated, people don't need a new 3/4 inch drill. People just want a 3/4 inch hole. In one simple phrase, Professor Levitt summed up the transformation of the so-called consumer, a mindless drone dependent on advertising for guidance, to the audience. Media transformed from tightly controlled passive one-to-many modes to loosely defined active many-to-many modes. Now the audience was in charge of the message. Guys like me who made their bones crafting 30-second spectaculars are now being challenged for those eyeballs by Silicon Valley geeks and nerds who use the new tools of interactive engagement to enable themselves through the invisible web they call the internet. I got into it early, back when it was still called ARPANET, and the killer apps were text messages called email, and dull as dishwater text pages called listservs. The brainiacs like Bill Joy at Sun and Regis McKenna at Apple gave me a front row seat to the future, way before anybody on Madison Avenue had even heard of the personal computer, and we're still getting used to the concept of word processing. It was not difficult for me to leverage my work on market segmentation to the new realities of the network society. I found the potential of the personal computer staggering, working for Helmut Krohn and Gene Case as early as 1970 on a little startup called Cybermatics. By the time I got to California, I was a full-blown geek. Smart started consulting with CKS and then March 1st. That's when I realized that just by adding my resume to a startup's venture capital package, I could raise their valuation by several million bucks. All I had to do was to be willing to work for warrants and stock options. A couple of years of that and I was rich on paper, with a Palm Pilot full of venture capital contacts.